So let's start with our regular class. So in the last class, I was talking about the JSP, the Java server pages. That is where we have stopped. So like now we know that a JSP, it is mainly used to deal with presentation logic. JSP mainly it handles presentation logic, deals with presentation logic, means it renders the response back to the client. And JSP page, we saw that like it looks similar to a HTML page, right? Almost looks similar to a HTML page. Like we can write the HTML code and all in the free form, the way we can write the HTML code in HTML page. So what is the main difference between sorry, a JSP and a HTML page? Yes. What is the main difference between a JSP page and a HTML page? Yes. What is the main difference between a HTML page and a JSP page? What do people think? So you'll find that JSP page, you see, as of now, what you're looking at is a JSP page. Okay, here also, this one, the product view JSP is a JSP page actually, if you can see this. So a JSP, it looks very much similar to your HTML page, but main difference is like JSP, you can call it as a dynamic page. It's dynamic page compared to HTML. How it is dynamic? You see, you'll find that in the JSP page, we can use this tags called as JSTL tags. You can use this JSTL tags. For each is a JSTL tag, which provides that looping construct, a looping feature in the JSP. So this for each tag will help you people to read the elements from the arrays, from the list, from the collections and all. So one more thing, in JSPs we can use expression language. In JSPs we can use expression language. See this dollar angular brackets. So this is expression language. And why do we use this expression language? What exactly are we doing here using this expression language? Can you people tell me? Okay, so what we are doing here, we are reading that objects, Java objects. Using the expression language, you will find that here you will be able to read the Java objects here. That is what we are trying to do. Okay, yes. So, like, yes, we can read Java objects and all in JSPs. You see, we can read the data which is in that objects and display that data. We can render that data. Okay, yes, fine. Yes, you see, we can do that. But make sure that actually, if you're thinking that we are directly accessing the properties here, but that is not the case. You'll find that these properties in that class are actually private. You see all the fields here. We are using the field names. All the field names are private actually. So you know, generally we specify the property name here in the expression language. Internally, the getter method associated to that property will be invoked. Whatever the value that getter method returns, that will be displayed here. So very important point. If you want to access this properties or fields which you got here in the class, or that fields using the expression language, then you have to make sure that you got getter methods for those properties. Make sure that you got getter methods for those properties. Okay. Yeah. So, and if you can make it a Java bean, then that would be more appropriate. You know Java bean, right? Yes. If it is Java bean, it would be more appropriate. Yes. Okay. Next, now there is one more important point which you need to know here. What is it? You see, we can embed Java code in the JSP page. We can embed Java code in the JSP page. Yes, it is possible. And there is one more point. This is very important. Okay, just a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. So one more important point regarding the JSPs is that when you execute a JSP, first of all, a JSP is translated into a servlet. Okay, you'll find that the JSP is translated into a servlet, and at the end, the JSP it executes as a servlet itself. Okay, yeah. So can we see that servlet which is generated? Can we see the servlet which is generated for this JSPs? I can say yes, it is possible. Okay, let me show you people. For example, you have this sample JSP, right? So first of all, let me run this code. Sample JSP. Now we have executed this JSP page. Okay, so Let me show you people the servlet which is generated. Where you can find this servlet which is generated for this JSP. Here, sorry, you can find this JSP which is generated for this servlet in the that server. Okay, in the Tomcat server. So we have deployed the application on the Tomcat server, right? And we have executed it on the Tomcat server. Yes. So you should see that generated servlet in the Tomcat server itself. Okay, you see Tomcat server, Tomcat 7.0. You got this work folder here. Okay, please make a note of it. If you want to see the servlet which is generated for this particular particular JSP, for a JSP, then you see here in the Tomcat server you'll find this work folder. In the work folder you got Catalina localhost. So under the localhost you should see a folder with the project name. Under the localhost you should see a folder with the project name, first web project. So open that folder. In that folder, just browse through that folder structure. org, Apache, JSP. In this JSP folder, now you see you'll find class files and source files. Okay. So we have created two JSPs, right? So for each JSP, you see, you'll find for the product with JSP, still the class file and Java file is not generated because we didn't execute it. For sample JSP, you see we have a class file and a source file. Okay, for sample JSP, we got a class file and source file. So you can open this source file .java file. Okay. See, this class name is same as the JSP name, right? This class name, you'll find that it is same as JSP name. And generally, if it is a servlet class, it should either extend a HTTP servlet class or generic servlet class, right? But you see, this one, it extends HTTP JSP base class. Okay, why so? Actually, HTTP JSP base is also a servlet class itself. HTTP JSP base class is also a servlet class itself. Basically, internally it extends HTTP servlet class. Internally, it extends HTTP servlet class. Yeah, and let me prove that this is a servlet, of course. Okay, let's see. Let me prove that this class is a servlet class. I want you people to check these three methods. Earlier, we saw the methods which were similar to these methods. What are they? Yes, they look similar to which methods? They look similar to your life cycle methods, am I right? Come on, yeah. You people forgot life cycle methods, right? Init, destroy, and service methods. But here it is JSP init, JSP service, and JSP destroy. The names are slightly different, but still they are same as your lifecycle methods of the. So Okay. So I'll show you service method. Let's see the service method. Yeah, now especially I want you people to concentrate on this code which you got here in the service method. Okay, just read this code once. You see what we can analyze here is what we can analyze is whatever the Java code which we have written here. Okay, whatever the Java code, not Java code, whatever the HTML code which you people have written in the JSP page, that HTML code, that HTML code, you see, it is wrapped in out.write statements. Okay, whatever the Java code which you have written in that, sorry, whatever the HTML code which you have written, whatever the HTML code which you have written in the JSP page, that HTML code now, it is wrapped in out.write statements. That means at the end we got the same thing. Generally, why we are using JSPs? Yes, what did I say initially? If you can recollect once from the last class discussion, why we are using JSPs? Sorry. Because if you use servlets to present the data, always in the servlet, the HTML code, we have to write it in out.println statements. The HTML code, we are supposed to write it in out.println statements, right? Yeah. Now you see, even when it comes to JSPs at the end, we're getting the same thing, right? But what is the difference here? What is the difference? The difference is that instead of we writing this or wrapping that HTML code in out.println statements, now you see that redundant stuff of wrapping that statements HTML code in out.println methods, the server is taking care of it. So you got the tool in the server which will take that HTML code and wraps that code in out.write statements. Out.write are similar to your println statements. Okay, so that means you see this redundant stuff are not only redundant, but you see we got an overhead of always writing such code, so it is also difficult to maintain or write such code, so it will be taken care by the tool. Yeah, we don't need to worry about it. Yes. So is it clear for you people, all of you? You people got it? Yes. Can I have yes or no? Is it clear for you people? Any questions, please let me know. Okay, so fine. So Vani says it's confusing. So where you got confused, let me know. Like, just talk about it so that I can understand. Okay, right from the first, in the sense, creating the generating the servlet or generation of servlet for the JSP page. Okay, if you people don't mind, please don't chat. Please, unmute your mic and talk to me. Because you know what, I'll tell you one thing. Please don't think other way. From last Wednesday onwards, I got fever with sore throat and cold. Yes. Now every day I'm taking almost 10 pills. Yes, 10 pills every day, from right from morning to evening. So I'm really having hard time sleeping also. So, but still, I'm not canceling the sessions. Even weekends, I had a session. I had taken special classes for you people. Most of them, they didn't care to attend also. That's different. But yes, please, if you got some questions, please talk to me. Please, always chat doesn't work. Even when I'm asking you people to respond, you don't respond properly. So, you know, try to understand. Yes, it's both the ways. Always, me speaking, I don't get any clarity if you got any questions, or if you just chat with me or ask questions that way. So that they will be very short. I don't know. So what's your problem is? You said from the beginning, but what is from the beginning? I don't know now. Please try to speak out, okay?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, try to
sorry.
understand my problem also. So I don't
Yeah,
understand if you chat, and even if I can't see you people to know whether you people understood or not. Everyone, yes.
yeah, I'm sorry. It is my fault because I didn't attend the classes that Saturday
Okay.
evening and Sunday also.
No, but I didn't take any class on JSP's weekends. It was on different framework. It was on studs, and actually,
Okay.
even I've uploaded those classes also. I'm not sure whether you check the Dropbox folder or not. I know most of them will miss the class, so that's the reason why I didn't take the regular topic. So it was studs framework. You can go through it. Yes. So
Yeah, JSP
this is just
also
continuation of Saturday's session itself, where we have stopped over the regular classes. That's it. Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
but
Now you tell me
uh,
where you.
JSP I got a little bit.
Yeah.
It is tough for me because this is the first time I am learning.
Okay. So where you didn't understand, if you can let me know,
Uh,
so I'll try to try it. Were you there when I introduced JSPs for you people? The first class where I was talking about, it was on Friday, I guess. Am I right? If others who have attended that class on Friday or Thursday,
yeah,
that
on
day.
Friday I was there,
Yeah.
but on Saturday I'm not
So I was talking about JSPs. The first session itself, I guess we were talking about it on Saturday morning. Yeah, I guess Saturday itself. I guess, yeah, Saturday morning we had a JSP class, I guess. Yeah. So yes. So please, I request you people, if you miss the session, please try to go through the record. Otherwise, because everything will be continuation. So carry forwarding. So please make sure that you go through these classes. So it's important. So you were not there in the JSP when I was talking about JSPs in the first class on Saturday morning.
there. Saturday
Yes.
morning I was there. Yeah, I heard the starting,
Okay,
but
JSPs.
JSP is right from JSP it is little bit tough for me.
Okay. So JSPs, mainly they used to simplify the process of presenting the data. Yes. To be frank, actually, I'm not sure. People, because it's morning, you people not don't attend regularly or not even responding. I only have, please don't mind, but to be frank, really, I'm saying that I only have problem with this batch. So people don't attend regularly. Or everyone, almost everyone, I see that. So because of morning or not, or what, I don't know. But I've got couple of sessions in the evening, two batches in the evening. Uh, I don't have such problems in the evenings, to be frank. Yeah, it's a bit troublesome for this batch itself, the attendance, because of morning, waking up in the morning, I guess, or some other stuff, uh, going for job and all. Yeah, but try to make sure that you check the records and all. Okay, yeah, please go through the records. Also, when you miss a class. Okay, so let me just briefly review this what we did. So here, earlier we saw that to we have developed this servlet earlier. Everything you have to follow everything from every each and every class, otherwise it will be difficult. So earlier we saw this servlet where we were presenting the data this way by you know uh, creating this web page, you know and writing this HTML code, especially in HTML code in the out dot sorry, HTML code in out.println statements. So we were doing this. So always wrapping HTML code in the out.println methods. That is what we need to do in Java. Yes. So this is little difficult for us, in fact, right? Because okay, this is a simple page which you're constructing, not with much design and all. Okay, but the thing is here, you'll find that all this, like if it is a complicated page with lot of styles and all, and even if the page has got lot of content, so writing so much of HTML code in out.println statements would be really difficult for us. So that is one of the main drawbacks of Servlet. So we can't deal with presentation logic, as we this is what the problem is. So that's the reason why JSPs have been introduced. So in JSPs, you can write this HTML code in the free form without any issues. You can write that HTML code, and you see in the JSPs, as I told you people, we can use such tags here to read that Java objects and present the data. So here now the responsibility of rendering the response will be delegated to the JSPs by the servlet. So need not be always from the servlet, but yes, of course, some servlets can do that. Now you see this servlet, what it is doing here. So it is fetching the product record from the database server. You see it uses a DO, will fetch the product records from the list. Sorry, from the database. So you'll get a list. Now in this list, you got product objects. In this list, we got product objects. So now this servlet, once it gets that list of product objects from the database, what it does, so it won't display the product records, uh, okay, will not render that response. The response is product records. Instead, what it is doing, so it will delegate it to the JSP. How it will delegate it to the JSP? So what it is doing, it is simply sharing this list with the JSP page. How it can do that? Using the request object. So this is the same old story. The way the servlet can share the data with servlets, with the other servlets. We have discussed about scope objects and all. Yes. So the servlets, the way they can share the data through the scope objects. Similarly, servlets can also share the data with JSPs through the scope objects. Yes. Now you see this servlet is adding that list to the request scope, and you see now servlet, to delegate the task of rendering the response to the JSP, it has to call the JSP. So how it can call the JSP? Again, this is the same old story which we did earlier, like the way a servlet can call another servlet using request dispatcher. The way a servlet can call another servlet. Similarly, a servlet can call a JSP as well using request dispatcher. So the request dispatcher object here, we are obtaining it. While obtaining the request dispatcher object through this request dispatcher method, we are passing that JSP name. So which JSP you want to call, and now you can call the JSP using forward method. So when you're calling the JSP by calling the forward method, you're passing the request and response objects to the JSP. Now JSP always will have access to that request object and response objects. So JSP will be invoked. So servlet is calling JSP. Why? Because creating that web page and reading that products list from that collection, and displaying the product records in the HTML table and all will be difficult here to write such code in servlets, because always we have to wrap it in out.println statements, as I told you. So in the JSPs, you can write that HTML code in a free form. in the JSPs we can write that code in the free form, and we are doing that. So we are reading that okay, we are creating a table and we are creating a row, and then now you see in the here JSP, what is the responsibility? So why the servlet is calling the JSP? To read the products list, to display the product records which are in that list. Servlet is calling JSP to display the product records which are in the list. So now JSP has to read that list, products list. Now JSP not only is supposed to read that list, but it should iterate or traverse through that list and read that elements from that list and display them. So if in order to read that elements from the list, here you'll find that to read the elements from the list in JSPs, we got special tags. Only in JSPs you'll find them. You see, we got something called as for each tag, and here, you know, we can use this for each tag to read the elements from the list. But now, first of all, we should access that. We should fetch that list where it is in the request scope, and what is the name given to that list. You see, servlet, while adding that request of that products list to the request scope, it gave the name as products. So using the expression language, you can read that list. Using the expression language, we can read that list. So this part of the code is reading the list uh, from the request scope. We don't need to specify the scope details here or scope object reference also. So directly we can do this. Now that reference will be stored in this variable items, attribute items I can say, which is for each. So that means we are reading that list and supplying it to the for each tag. Now for each tag, what it does, it is very much similar to a for each loop. So for each loop will automatically read the elements from the list, and for each iteration it reads an element and stores that element in a temporary variable, right? Here also for each loop, for each tag here will read the elements from the list. For each iteration it reads one element and will store it in the temporary variable product. Okay, it stores it in the temporary variable product. Yes. So now you can think of this part of this code as block. You see, now for each loop, tag starts here and ends here, and whatever the code you write between this end and start and end for each tag, that code will execute repeatedly a number of times. It depends on the list now. So now the for each tag, now for each iteration it reads one element and stores it in this temporary variable. So we are using this variable or var attribute to declare a temporary variable. So it holds that elements reference. So for each iteration, that elements reference will change. So we'll take that reference and we are reading that data from that object and displaying it by creating a row. That's it. So now this is the difference. So in servlets, we have to always wrap it in out.println statements, but when it comes to JSP, we don't need to do that. We can write it in free form. So that is what the purpose of JSP is. Okay, so which helps us to avoid such writing such code which is redundant and complicated also, where we got an overhead of always writing that out.println statements and wrapping that HTML code in the out.println statements. So this is what the main purpose is, to simplify the presentation logic, writing that HTML code in the free form. So first of all, is it clear for you people so far what we discussed? So any questions? Okay, so even others, if you got any questions, please let me know. So now, but as I told you people, this JSP when it executes, when this JSP is executed, what happens? First of all, it is translated into a servlet. Yes, you'll find that this JSP is translated into a servlet, and whatever the HTML code we have written here in the JSP, it will be wrapped in out.write statements again. So this is the servlet which is generated for the JSP. This is a servlet which is generated for the JSP here. Yes. So, you know, now in this JSP, in this servlet, you'll find that whatever the HTML code we have written in the JSP is wrapped in out.write statements. Here, that means at the end, we are getting the same result. So what we used to do earlier with servlets, again the same thing happens here. So again, such servlet is generated with that HTML code wrapped in out.write statements. These write statements are similar to your println methods. So what is the advantage? The only thing is, yes, I want you people to tell me, yes, what is the advantage of using the servlet or the JSP then? You'll find that, you see, instead of we writing this code, wrapping that code, if we use servlet, we have to do this explicitly, right? So in the servlet earlier, previously, so we have written this out.println statements, and we have to explicitly write that HTML code or wrap that HTML code in out.println methods. But this time, you see, the server will take care of it through the JSPs. You see, we'll write that HTML code in the free form, and the server, what it does, in the server we got a tool which generates the servlet. Okay, which generates the servlet. Yes. So in that servlet, all that HTML code which are written in JSP is wrapped in out.write statements. So tool is taking care of it. Instead of we doing it, tool is taking care of it. Yes. Yeah. So that is the advantage of using the JSPs, I can say. Okay. Yes. Okay. So hope you people got it. Now you see, this servlet is generated by the tool. So always a JSP is translated into a servlet. At the end, it executes as a servlet itself. At the end, it executes as a servlet. Yes. Okay. Now You know, when we talk about the capabilities of a JSP, okay, when we talk about the capabilities of a JSP, I can say that capabilities are very much similar to your servlet, or I can say almost same as servlet. Whatever the capabilities we got for the servlet, what are all the things which we can do with servlet, yes, we can also do them with a JSP as well, because servlet is also a JSP, because servlet is also a JSP here. Okay, servlet is nothing but a JSP, I can say. Fine. So let me just show you people. Now, whatever things which we did with servlets, all those things we can do with JSPs as well. Okay. For suppose, let's say we got this login page. Now, when this page is submitted, as of now, a servlet whose URL is sample serve will be handling this request, right? This form request will be handled by a servlet whose URL is sample serve. But now we can also handle this request using a JSP as well. Yes, we can process this form request using a JSP. Yes, it is possible. Now, let's say I want this sample JSP which you got here to process that form request. I want the sample JSP to process this form request. Yes. You know, what changes we are supposed to do here in this page to make sure that the sample JSP, so that this form request is handled by sample JSP. What changes we are supposed to do here to this page, to this login page, so that the sample JSP will process this request, so that when this form is submitted, sample JSP is invoked and it will process the request. So what do people think? Yes. So what changes are we supposed to do here? If this form request, you know, if it has to be handled by login at that sample page. No idea. So here what we can do is we can use we have to change this action attribute value. Just assign the JSP name. Sorry. Just change that action attribute value to sample JSP. That's it. Just change the action attribute value to sample JSP. Yes. This is what we need to do. Yes. Okay. Now whenever this form is submitted, the sample JSP will be invoked. So when this sample JSP is invoked, so how can we read that form data? How can we read the form data here? Yes. So as I told you people, this actually JSP is nothing but a servlet itself. So what you can do is here in the JSP you can write this code. So okay, this will be same as we do it in the servlet. For suppose, so if you want to read that form data in servlets, what you will do, if you want to read form data in servlets, generally what you'll do, we use request.get parameter method, right? No, request.get parameter to read the form data. So here also we'll do the same, request.get parameter, request.get parameter. Yes. So I'll do this username. You see, similarly, you can read that password as well. Yes. Request dot get parameter. Okay. Yes. That's it. So this way, you see, in the JSP, we can write this Java code the way we write it in the servlet to read that form data, and whatever we did in servlets, it is possible to do this here also. Okay. Yes. In the service method, whatever the request processing code you have written, you can write such code here as well. You see, we are able to read that form data. Yes. Okay. Just a second. Let me just print this details as of now. Just print it. Okay. So I have this kind of expressions which I can use to read the data from that variables which you have declared in the service method. Password. So let's see. Yes. So people who have just joined, what we are trying to do is using a JSP, we are trying to handle this form request. Earlier we have developed a login form, right? So that form request, we are trying to process that form request using the JSP now. You see the action attribute value, I gave it as sample JSP. The action attribute value, I gave it as sample JSP. That's it. Okay. Now when this form is submitted, so sample JSP is invoked. So in the JSP page, we can write such this code, Java code, to read that form data and all. See, so for the JSP, so whatever the Java objects which are available for the servlet, all that objects, you see, like request object, response object, all such objects are available for JSPs as well. Okay. Okay. Now after reading it, I'm simply trying to display the state. Yeah. So let's try to test this code. Okay. So I'll deploy this application in the server. So I'll just open this login page. See, I'll click on login. So the JSP page is invoked. So it displays the data. Just a second. Here, let me add a BR tag. Okay. You see, when that form is submitted, you'll be able to Sorry, you'll be able to read that form data and also further process the request. So you can use request dispatcher, you can use scope objects, you got everything whatever you want to do here in the JSPs as well. Okay, but generally we don't write such code for processing the request here in the JSPs. If you have such requirement, go for circuits. So what is the main use of JSPs? Yes. What is the main application of JSPs? JSPs main application. Okay, it's a dynamic web page. I'm talking about application. That means usage of a JSP. Why do we use a JSP? Yes, to handle the presentation logic, to display the records and all, to display the response data. Okay, we can create a dynamic web page. Okay, Sadbir, if you're saying we can create a dynamic web page, I do agree. That's right. Okay, fine. That will be right. Yeah. So, so these are all the things which we can do using a JSP. Okay. Now let me also show you people this. So for suppose here, let's say I got another JSP page. Let's see all the capabilities of a JSP. I need one more day, at most one more day, a couple of days to complete this JSPs. I'll be talking about JSTL. I just introduced you people to JSTL in that first JSP page, but we have yet to discuss a lot about JSTL. Okay, one day for JSTL, and tomorrow that won't be tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be talking about JSP elements and all. The other day for JS, 2 days, 2 more days to go. After that, we'll start with other frameworks. Yeah. So let me create a JSP page here. Let's say test JSP. We'll try to completely dig into the details of JSPs because they are widely used in Java. Okay. Yes. So JSP pages, mainly they used to create dynamic web pages to display the dynamic content and all. Okay. Now, first of all, now you see we people understood that whatever the Java code, sorry, we can embed Java code. Yes. And you see when we execute a JSP, it is translated into a servlet and it executes as a servlet. And I guess few people have missed it, Ritvik and Sadbir. So this point is important. When we execute a JSP, it is translated into a servlet and it executes as a servlet itself. Yes. It executes as a servlet. For this JSP, a servlet is generated. At the end, the JSP also executes as a servlet. Yes. So, and one important thing, all of you, this part of the code which you have written, what we are doing exactly, we are trying to embed Java code into this JSP page. We are trying to embed Java code into this JSP page here. Yes. This part of the code which you have written here, this expression which I'm using, less than percentile, percentile greater than, you see here it starts less than percentile in line number 11, and in line number 18 it ends percentile greater than. That part of the code is actually called as scriptlet. Scriptlet. We say it's a scriptlet. It's one of the JSP elements. It is one of the JSP element. Scriptlet. The syntax for it is percentile, less than percentile, percentile greater than, and generally we embed Java code here. Okay. We embed Java code. So using scriptlets, we can embed Java code into the JSP. Yes. And one important point. So whatever the Java code which we write here in the scriptlet, straight away it is copied into the service method of the generated servlet. Straight away it is copied into the service method of the generated servlet. You know, for that JSP, yes, all of you once again, and especially Ritwik and Sadbir. So this is the servlet which is generated for that sample JSP. This is the JSP which is generated for that sample JSP. Okay. Now whatever the Java code you write in that scriptlet into the servlet's service method, it that Java code is copied. You see in the servlet generated servlet, yeah, here, just sorry. You see in the generated servlet, you'll find the JSP service method. It's same as your service method. Okay, it's same as your service method. In the service method of the generated servlet, you will find this Java code. Straight away, that Java code is copied into the service method. So whatever the Java code which we write in that scriptlet, or whatever the Java code which are trying to embed into the JSP through the scriptlet, it is copied into this service method of the generated servlet. For the generated servlet, we got a service method, right? Into that service method, this code is copied here. This code is copied. Yes. So as is, you see, in the scriptlet we have this code. Request.get parameter, request.get parameter, 2 lines. It is copied as is here into the service method. Even this one, sorry, out.println. Please make a note of it. So whatever the Java code we embed through the scriptlet, whatever the Java code we embed through the scriptlet, you'll find that it is copied into the service method of the generated servlet. Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. So now I have a question for you people. That means, okay, what kind of Java code can we write here? I said, okay, through the scriptlet we can embed Java code into the JSP. Okay. Can we write any kind of Java code here in this scriptlet? What do you people think? Can we write any kind of Java code? Can I define a class? Can we write any kind of Java code? Yes. What do you people think? No. Yes. So what kind of Java code can we write here? we can only write the Java code which is legal inside the service method. Because as I told you people, whatever the Java code we write here in the scriptlet, what happens? It is copied into the service method of the servlet. A servlet is generated for the JSP, right? In that generated servlet, you will find the service method. And in the service method, the Java code is copied as is. Yes. The Java code is copied as is. Yes. Got it? Yeah. So hope you people got it. Yes. Okay. Now we cannot define a method because you see, if I define a method here, then what happens? So what will be the issue if I define a method here? What do people think? Yes. So in that case, what happens? This method will be added to the service method. This method will be added into the service method. So can we define a method inside a method? Can we define a method inside a method? It is not possible. It is never possible. Okay, we cannot define a method inside a method. Yes. Okay. So hope everyone got it. So just write only that Java code which is valid inside a inside that service method. I'm sorry. Inside the service method. Yes. Only write that Java code which is valid inside the service method. Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. So, but generally, you'll find that we don't follow this approach a lot, writing the request processing. But the problem is that you should know all the stuff. So how it works here. Later on, you'll find that we got a better option, like we can use JSTL and expression language. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to deal with all this stuff. Now we need to know another important point here. How a JSP can call another JSP. For suppose a request has to be forwarded from a JSP to another JSP. Then what? So, and you see the story is same, I can say. How a JSP can call another JSP the same as how a servlet can call another servlet. Yes. How a servlet can call another servlet. Yes. Yes, that's right. Exactly. Good. So we can use that request dispatcher forward method here, and we can do that. You see now this sample JSP, if it wants to call another JSP, you see we got a test JSP here. I'll do this. Okay. Align equal to sender test page. I'll just display this message. So when I want sample JSP to call test JSP. So first of all, sample JSP is supposed to obtain the request dispatcher object, and you see this is what it can do. Same old story as we did in servlets. Call that get request dispatcher method and pass that JSP name which has to be invoked. That's it. So first you'll obtain the request dispatcher object. So after that, call the forward method. That's it. Yes. Okay. So let's test this code. So now what I'll do is I'll call sample page, sample JSP, I'm sorry. You see I'll type in that name, sample.jsp. Yes, press enter. Oops, refresh this page. So the browser was having that old content. You see, when I call sample JSP, in turn it calls test page. Yes. So similarly, JSP not only can call another JSP, but it can also share the data with another JSP here. It can also share the data with another JSP. Okay, yes. For suppose, just a second. Let's say I got some class called a supplier, uh, which represents that suppliers for the products. Okay, you see in the supplier class, we got this fields product ID, supplier ID, and supplier name. Supplier ID and supplier name. So we use the supplier class objects to hold supplier details, right? Yes. So now sample JSP here, it can share the data as well. That is what I want to show people. For suppose sample JSP has got the supply details with it. We'll see the applications also, but first of all we'll try to explore the features, okay? So just a second. Let me add a parameterized constructor here. See, you got a parameterized constructor which takes ID and name. So I'll use that constructor to initialize that object. Okay, so some supplier, let's say, oh, Tata. Okay, now you see, I got a supplier object, not I am, sorry. In the sense, sample JSP has got a supplier object. Sample JSP has got a supplier object, and it wants to share the data with test JSP. It wants to share the data with test JSP. So here, sample JSP, what it can do is it can add that object to the request scope. So here, JSPs can use scope objects. Again, scope objects, right? So in the servlets, how they can share the data through the scope objects. So similarly, JSPs can also use scope objects here. Yes. So now this JSP can add the data to the scope object. Yes. Set attribute. You see now that we can add that object to the request scope this way. We write the same code as we did earlier. I'm adding that object to the request scope. Supplier object to the request scope here. Yes. Okay. So now the other JSP can read that product object, sorry, supplier object here. It can read that product object. So how it can read that product object? Yes. how it will be able to read the product object. Using get attribute method, that's right. Yes, exactly. So it can use that get attribute method here. Yes. So request dot get attribute and pass that object name. Yes. Supplier. Yes. So now we got the product supplied object. So let's read that supply details. Supplier ID, supplier dot get ID, supplier name. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So let's test this code. So I'll call sample JSP. You see, the selected one is sample JSP. Refresh the page. This now this client has got that old content. Refresh it. Yes, you see, test page is invoked. So it displays the product supply details. I'm sorry. It is able to display the supply details. Yeah. So is it clear for you people, all of you? Okay, thank you. This way, you see, JSP can call another JSP. One JSP can share the data with another JSP. You see, we got scope objects. And actually, you'll find that there is one additional scope in JSPs. So how many scopes we got for the servlet generally? When we talk about servlets, how many scopes we got? Three scopes. Yes. But when it comes to JSP, you'll find that we got four scopes. There is one additional. There is one additional scope. Yes. Okay. So we'll see that scope also, but we'll talk about it in the next class. In the next class, I'll talk about, we'll discuss more about this JSPs. We'll dig into more details like the JSP elements and all. Yes. So that's all for today. So we got a class tomorrow at same time, okay, at our regular time, and we'll continue discussion. So you should be able to find the weekend special class records, Saturday evening and Sunday evening classes, struts, US time. I'm talking about US Saturday evening and Sunday evening. Uh, struts classes you can check once, okay? Yeah. So thank you all. Bye bye. Yeah. Let's meet tomorrow at same time.